Hello, Connie Herbert here from Cherbert's Imagery. I'm a nature photographer. I love being in nature. I love observing what's around me, down to the small details. I see things that often people walk by. Sometimes I take pictures of what I find. I take pictures of large landscapes also, and anything in nature, wildlife, birds, flowers. I am drawn to nature. I'm going to show you a little bit about what I'm working on. This photo on the screen is a mushroom, or several mushrooms actually, that were growing on a tree in Michigan. I have not identified them yet, so I don't know what kind they are, but I'm going to see if I want to do any cropping. You guys will get to see what I do. I've got it set up, automatically comes up the grid, the rule of thirds. There's lines on the thirds going horizontal and vertical. And I think I will, so that I don't have so much yellow up here in this corner, so much lightness, because I want these guys to be my focal point. I think I'm going to try bringing that in. And by doing that, that actually, there we go, that brings the mushroom so it almost makes in a backwards S curve around the third line there. I could, let's try a different way. Let's undo that. Now let's bring it so we don't have so much of this green moss on this side. That is, because that's not what is in focus. It's the mushrooms. I'm going to bring that in. Now, doing that, I don't know if I want to crop it a lot more than that. Let's let go and see. That puts this S curve right in the center of the photo. I don't really like to put my subject right in the center unless it fills the whole frame. So if that mushroom filled this whole area, then I would be okay with that being in the center. That brings up another idea for a crop. We'll undo that one. So far I've been cropping in the original ratio that the photo was taken in, which is 2:3. I'm going to try a square ratio, and let's see what that does. Now I think with the square ratio, I'm going to drag it over. With that ratio, it gets rid of this distraction over here, and in a way I think this is good. It's light, it's the tree trunks coming down, but they're leading you down, and this is not quite in the center, but it's still an S curve through that area. I think that's what I'm going to do, is a square crop. I don't do that whole process on every photo I do. Some photos I don't do any cropping on. In fact, I would say the majority of my photos I don't do any cropping. Some of them it's very slight. The majority of my photos are the 2:3 ratio, so that would be like a 4:6 if you were printing small, or like an 8:12 is generally about the smallest size that I have on the website, is an 8:12. But that is a 2:3 ratio. There are other ratios I could do, but I tend to try to stick to similar ratios, except for when I decide I want to do a square photo. Once in a while I do more a panoramic look, and I'll do it wider and narrower, but that doesn't suitable for all photos. Definitely wouldn't have been suitable for this photo, because this is more an intimate nature shot. I'm looking at one small piece of nature instead of a wider view. I hope that made sense to you, and if you enjoyed it, want to see more of what I do, whether it's shooting outdoors or working on my work or hearing about my adventures, be sure to hit subscribe. Before I save this photo, I'm going to see if I can identify this mushroom. I will look on Google, use Google searches. I have a book. It is the National Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Mushrooms. I just recently got this fall. I'm going to look in it, and this is kind of a tulip shaped mushrooms. We're going to see, I'm going to go through the shapes. It's more a cap shaped. There are like so many mushrooms in here, and I really do have trouble identifying the mushrooms. Hopefully I will get better at that as I find and identify more, because I definitely am enjoying photographing mushrooms. I photographed so many on this trip to Michigan. One stop, one location, a campsite that I stopped at, I found 5 different varieties that I was able to photograph. Then there were others, different days. This is the only one I got this particular day. It was on a tree right along a trail that we were walking to a waterfall, and it just jumped out at me like, oh, there's a mushroom. I had to stop. I let everyone else go on, and I did some photography. I will see with my books if I can get it identified before I save it.